Yeah, I would have to agree with that, and we'll see which one comes out on top, because spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the French Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is DnS.
And over here in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Poland, representing Berserker Esports. We have PAPI.
Here we go. A big shout out to the mainstream. For those who don't know, and I think it's fine sharing this, I think we've spoken about this before. The mainstream, they pick which matches they want, and they let us have what is remaining. And obviously, they know PAPI. They know what we want, what we're about to. They know what is the most important match here for the B stream, and that is casting some more PAPI.
Indeed. Player after our own hearts here, not just because of his name, but also because of his playstyle.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I'm glad that you brought up earlier about how these players are up-and-comers in their respective scenes and regions, and yeah, DnS, this is why I'm a little bit surprised that DnS is struggling as much as he is. I don't know if you saw, but in the standings, both of these players, neither one has actually won a series. They've taken maps. They have taken maps, but they have not taken a series yet. And DnS, at least in my opinion, after what we've seen in WTL, in World Team League, he is... I would say he is the ace player of the Platinum Heroes. This season, maybe that's a little bit different. This season, they have Firefly, and I would maybe make an argument for Firefly being the greater player. But you know, still being top 2 is an impressive feat, and yeah, DnS, he's been struggling here at the group stage.
Yeah, just taking a quick little look-see here at the standings. He did face Goblin, he did face Arcfire, and like you said, was able to take a map off of Goblin, but hasn't quite been able to follow through all the way. But maybe this time will be different.
Yeah, I hope so, just because I had really high hopes for DnS coming into the season of ESL Masters Winter, and it feels like he has been underperforming a little bit. He's been struggling, and hopefully he can bring it all back here and now as we're getting into this PvP. So far, 2 gate openers from both of our players, nothing out of the norm. It is going to be Stalker openers into Sentries as well.
Yeah, the craziest thing you can really say about this game so far is the fact that PAPI has elected to go for that pseudo proxy, but DnS didn't take the bait, didn't overreact either, so... Well, I say that, but he's still scuttering around the edges of the map.
Yeah, he's looking for it. He's looking for that pylon, but he isn't really convinced that it's going to be any kind of dedicated proxy. There we go. Hallucination is moving out across the map, and that will confirm the timing of the Nexus, as well as any additional tech. PAPI is going for a Twilight Council, and the main base is going to be for Blink.
Indeed. Blinkstalkers, I was going to say Blinkstalkers against Blinkstalkers, but DnS I don't think has made his tech choice just yet.
Yeah, not quite yet, as the units were a little bit busy focusing on those rocks. We get into the main base, we get eyes on the Twilight Council as well as the base itself, and upon seeing that, DnS, he throws down his own Twilight Council back at home. He will have a slightly later timing here with Blink, but he makes up for that. He makes up for that with a slightly faster, no, even delayed expansion as well. So just really safe play out of DnS.
Yeah, which could definitely backfire. I mean, like you said, PAPI already is taking a very, very healthy lead. Part of this is because of the fact that DnS went in with his initial probe scout, only saw 1 pylon in the main base, and overreacted a little bit. But now that he's confirmed that, yep, this isn't a proxy coming my way, this isn't any sort of cheese, I need to reciprocate while I get into my own groove.
Yeah, he's getting into the groove, and DnS is looking to do some crashing damage as well. We have 2 adepts, they get eyes on the 3rd base, they shade it towards the natural as well. We do have a full Wolof here in the main, and yeah, PAPI, he is keeping up with everything that DnS has to throw at him. PAPI even taking a faster 3rd.
Much faster 3rd. DnS knows that he's going to be perpetually behind, so he's moving out with his Stalkers, with his Sentries as well. Just trying to meet the rest of his army within these 2 adepts. And already he's pulling a couple of Stalkers out of position, making it a little bit easier for him to apply pressure on this 3rd.
Yeah, DnS, he's here to deny the 3rd base, and PAPI, he's having a hard time engaging. Blink is still not done. The base itself taking a lot of hits. Force fields are thrown down, but PAPI is being zoned away.
Just like so. Force fields being thrown down left and right, but in the end, DNSs were a little bit tighter and a little bit more efficient.
Yeah, but here comes the rest of the army. We're focusing on century after century. It looks like PAPI, he is running out of steam, though. He has to respect the forces of DNS. We're waiting for another wave of reinforcements, and here come the Stalkers of PAPI.
Yeah, Blink just finished up for PAPI as well. DNS completely blinkless, and oh lord, PAPI is cleaning up completely.
Yeah, he does shut down the army. He barely does back up as well, so with some of those weakened units. The Stalker's taking a lot of hits. One Stalker will go down, but the base survives.
Corpse of that stalker just flew into my face. And yeah, both DNS and PAPI just trying to chase this down. When it's all said and done, I do think that PAPI made it out of here much, much better. I mean, he keeps his third base alive that he got much, much quicker. Didn't lose any probes to defend here. Maybe he did lose a couple of a few too many sentries, but he was trading against sentries with DNS as well.
I mean, if you look at the units lost tab, we traded an even amount of Stalkers. DNS actually lost 1 extra Adept and 1 extra Sentry, so technically PAPI did trade better, and he still maintains a slight worker lead as well, as we're transitioning into the mid game. Now that the aggression is over, we're getting into our Forges, Charge, Immortal production, Robot production in general. We're headed in that direction.
Indeed, we are. DNS does have one advantage over PAPI, however. He did opt for the much quicker robo facility, and so Immortal production is going to be a lot quicker on his end. Both of them getting +1 at about the same timing, so things are looking to equalize as we get into that mid game.
Yeah, things are settling on down, and things are pretty even between both players. Like, slight advantages and disadvantages, but like they're so small that we can't really put too much weight behind them, as they are mirroring each other. You know, we've got the Gateway Explosion, the upgrades, everything is looking as it should. It's going to come down to the positioning of the fights, and also going to come down to whether someone decides to take it in any kind of crazy direction, like into faster Archons or even Disruptors.
Yeah. The difference is so small, they don't even activate the weight sensors on a scale. As both players get into their fourth bases and tech up further, Templar Archives getting thrown down with on both sides. So yeah, really mirror builds coming out from DNS and PAPI so far.
Did you like weigh yourself recently, Yaku? Is that what happened? Were you like playing with the weight scale and like trying to like see if you could get away with not triggering it? Is that...
I've been advised not to answer.
Shaking my head. As here we go, the Templar Archives is done for PAPI. We have Archons on the way already. Meanwhile, DNS, again, only a couple of seconds behind, is working on his Warp Prism. With the arrival of the Warp Prism, DNS should be pushing. He should be moving out across the map, looking to lay siege upon the bases of PAPI and looking to try to catch him out of position as the Stalkers come in, and there is nothing here at the natural.
Yeah, a little bit of a vulnerability here from PAPI. A lot of probes are going to go down. Very quick recall will keep every single one of these Stalkers alive. So, all in all, net gain here for DNS.
Yeah, there you go. 4 worker kills, losing nothing, only the recall. And again, we can make use of that. It's only an energy-based ability. Of course, DNS can now take that economic lead and extend it here with his 4th base getting up and running. Likewise, the 4th on the way for PAPI. And we're still just kind of building ourselves up. There's still no kind of major clashes, just skirmishes here and there.
Yeah, still building up to get a critical mass of Archons, of Immortals, and what have you. Neither player really taking up further than tier 2.5, so yeah, you know, no fleet beacons or anything. No Robo Bays being thrown down, which is surprising. I do think that that's the one unit both players are missing right now is Disruptors.
And DNS, he throws something else down. Instead, he throws down a Dark Shrine, but immediately he does get scattered by the hallucination. PAPI, at least his units do confirm what is going on and cannons the throwdown immediately.
Just like so.
Yeah, we are getting...
Yeah, I was going to say, it's definitely a bit of an odd choice here from DNS to throw down the Dark Shrine, and it looks like he is committed to it. It's not a fake out by any means. Yeah, he's not behind at all, so I can't really say I envision these DTs doing too much, but, you know, maybe he just wants to keep his options open as the game continues and as more fights and more engagements happen. Sneaking into a 3 DTs into a mineral line can absolutely secure you a lead.
Yeah, Papi, it doesn't just have to be when behind Dark Shrine. It can be when anytime Dark Shrine. And here we go. We dive on the army. The Archons are not quite done here. The Zealots do clash amongst each other. Papi going to try and break on through. He does have reinforcements coming in on the front lines.
He does, but he has lost his Warp Prism DNS, I do mean. Papi will be able to chase this back. The Zealots get on top of the Archons. They will melt, but it looks like Papi has enough Immortals, has enough Stalkers to chase down the stragglers of DNS's army. DNS, meanwhile, is trying to go for a bit of a flank, is trying to go for a bit of a run-by with these Zealots, but still, Papi is pulling ahead here.
Yeah, Papi cleans up the main army. He's going to be losing some probes, though. 8 workers do go down, but what's important is what you mentioned. DNS, he lost all of his high-value units, his Archons, his Immortals. They all did go down, and 8 probes is not going to be enough to really recover that. As Papi is able to muster up his forces once again, he'll have a more efficient army, but DNS is not backing down. He's not slowing down. He's here once again, this time with Blink Stalkers.
That he is. And ever since SEV graced us with his match, I've been messing up the names of workers. But yeah, DNS wants to continue to apply pressure here. Papi will be able to chase us back. He is the player with more high-tech units. He has a bit of a stronger foundation to his unit composition with all of these Archons and with even just the one Immortal that he's got.
Yeah, exactly. He's got so much here with this. DNS does have one Immortal of his own, but mainly a Stalker-based army. Zealots, they do such a great job at just tanking here. Once we do commit to a fight, there we go. More Zealots are on the way. DNS getting caught out, a bit of miscontrol, a bit of mispositioning there. A Stalker, 2 Stalkers go down for free, and now we can commit to another big fight, but we are not chasing towards that 5th. It looks like Papi wants to focus his attention on the 3rd.
Yeah, wise choice here from Papi. That was a very, very fortified position for DNS. DNS wanted a fight to happen there when he could battery overcharge, when he could rely on a lot of his cannons as well to provide extra DPS.
Yeah, exactly. And now the overcharge is running out. There is a cannon in the back line, but it's quite far back, and we can see Papi just mowing his way through all these Zealots. He takes down the Immortal immediately, and DNS is forced to back off, forced to retreat, and expose his 3rd.
Yeah, it really goes to show how important Archons are in the PvP matchup, specifically against Zealots, because these Stalkers are pretty much at their mercy at this point.
They really are, and the 3rd base is going to be going down. 16 workers as well. Papi can rotate around towards the 4th at this point, or he can keep on pushing towards the natural. The world is his oyster. It looks like he's going to back off at the same time. We do have some DT counterattacks, but no, Papi, he's ready for it.
Yeah, already had a couple of warpins prepared. Already had this observer prepared to provide a bit of detection. Really nice pick off on one of those pylons. Papi has lost a lot of production potential, has lost a lot of warpins here, but at this point, he's got such a powerful army, it may not matter. Here comes the flank, though, with DNS's Zealots, and all of the Archons, most of the Archons have went down.
Yeah, Papi, did he overextend a little bit too much? Meanwhile, a massive warpin into the main base. DNS is not going down without a fight, forcing a recall all the way back home. Papi does actually only just even up the worker count by killing that base. It goes to show how far ahead DNS was by taking that 5th.
Yeah. Kept his pro production consistent. Meanwhile, there's absolute chaos going on in the main base of Papi. While that's going on, his 4th base is very much exposed. Papi doesn't really have a lot of units to defend here. He's got 2 Archons and a handful of Zealots. Very beefy units, but there aren't a lot of them. I would say nowhere near enough of them.
Yeah, as we do see Papi just consolidating his army. He's trying to push on forward with what little he has. We do have a weapon of Stalkers behind this. Immortal on the way. DNS good kiting so far, able to avert disaster, maintain his army, but he's bleeding out a lot of Stalkers, actually.
He is +3, did finish up, so I can understand why he wants to stand and fight. He wants to trade as well as he can, but at a certain point, pure Stalker just cannot match up against Archon Chargelet like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just cannot match up. But what can is this 1DT? It's been chilling here in the main base for quite some time. We need detection. We need a single observer. And there we go. It is making its way into the main base. At the same time, DNS pushing on forward once again towards the 4th bases of Papi. But this time he's in position. This time he's ready for it.
That he is. PAPI is definitely a lot more prepared. This time he has more of his high-tech units in position. DnS is trying to expand behind all of this. I like this idea. He might not have the most sophisticated army, but he does have a very strong economy, and he's looking to make sure that he is able to maintain that lead as the game continues.
Yeah, exactly. As PAPI, he wants to fight. He knows that he can trade better here, more efficiently against these Stalkers. A lot of Stalkers are going down. The Zealots do get cleaned up as well. We're going to be pushing this, chasing this over towards the new 6th base of DnS. PAPI isn't aware. He doesn't see it, doesn't spot it, but he can push at least towards a 4th.
Yeah, these Archons looking so exposed. DnS wants to be very careful. He doesn't want to just blink on forward into a trap, but once he recognizes that there's an opportunity, he does not hold back at all. Yeah. All of the Archons go down. The one Immortal is going to go down as well. GG is called. DnS turns things around, and so drastically when he looked dead, and we'll be able to take game number 1.
GG, well played. DnS was having a really hard time defending against the eventual push from PAPI. He had to completely give up the 3rd, but he was actually achieving quite a lot across the map, just keeping reinforcements back at home and also dealing economic damage. And on top of that, he was able to get away with an insane economy, just mass expanding, taking a 5th, eventually a 6th base, and he was able to just maintain his almost purely gateway-based army.
Yeah, that was, I think, the most surprising thing about towards the end of this game here, because for the longest time, both players were just going Charge Slot, Archon, with a couple of Immortals and Stalkers to support. After DnS, I think, overextended a little bit in his initial move out and kind of lost all of his high-tech units. He said, you know what, it's going to take too much time for me to try to rebuild all of these. Just Stalkers are quick to warp in, and are very reliable, so long as I'm, make sure that my control is slick enough to keep them alive. That's all I need here. I have such a better economy, and if I give you an opportunity to kind of rebuild your income, that's going to spell disaster for me. I was kind of disparaging it a little bit, but in the end, that Dark Stride actually worked out really well for DnS.
Yeah.
He managed to make it work.
I'm telling you, mate.
Yeah.
Anytime Dark Stride, you don't have to be behind PAPI. It's whenever you want, PAPI. It can work amazingly well, and yeah, it did come in clutch for DnS in the end. It caused a lot of havoc, it caused a lot of chaos, and with that, DnS does take a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. Can he close it out, or can our Polish Protoss player fight back?
I would not be surprised if it was the latter that you said. Speaking of the ladder, here we are now on Golden Aura, where we're here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Poland, repping his colors here, representing Berserker Esports. We have PAPI.
And sporting in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is DnS.
Absolutely seared into my mind now after having a constant loop of forgetting it and then being reminded and then forgetting it and then being reminded. Eventually I decided, you know what, I'm just going to tattoo it in my mind. DnS stands for Do Not Surrender. And that's exactly what he demonstrated to us in game number 1.
Is that actually a thing? Is that...
Are you gaslighting me?
I don't know. Do we know what it stands for? As in,
I'm pretty sure I remember it standing for Do Not Surrender. Are you gaslighting me right now, Light?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it stands for something different for DnS. I mean, like, okay. Yeah.
Right, it could be in French. It could be
Stop! It's okay. we don't need to impersonate the French language. It's fine, PAPI. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I wouldn't worry about it, but Duolingo's gonna worry about it come the morning.
Ay. But yeah, we are just getting into our PvP, and we are going to be committing to a proxy here. So this is a fake pylon out of DnS. This is I was going to say a real pylon out of PAPI. They throw out proxy sockets right next to each other. Oh my god.
And they both scout. Unbelievable. These two players are definitely mind-linked, and, well, yeah, actually one scout's PAPI scouts. DnS, yeah. I think, missed the proxy and possibly missed a probe entirely as well. Wow.
Great minds think alike, but PAPI, he does get eyes on the proxy Stargate. DnS has no idea what's going on. He missed it, just barely missed it there on the edge of his vision. And how is this going to come together? Okay, we have Adepts going to be zooming across the map. It looks like we want to try to depower this pylon and deny this Oracle. And we're going Phoenix first from PAPI. And he's getting scouted!
Will be confirmed. DnS, yeah, confirms the Phoenix coming out from PAPI. And now he's going to have to scramble. He's going to have to figure out a way to turn his fortunes around.
Yeah, exactly. The two Adepts, they shade into the main base. PAPI has nothing in him to defend. The boys are being pulled. So many workers are going to be going down.
And he forces a recall. Very important here for DnS. 6 probes already go down, 7 of them even. And there's way more where that came from. There is a Phoenix guarding the... just kind of camping the Stargate right now of DnS. But I believe the Oracle, yeah, the Oracle made it out. And it's looking to get even more damage across the map.
This is disastrous. This is actually getting out of control. PAPI is losing far too much. 9 workers are going to be going down. This Oracle, there's nothing to stop it. There's one Stalker that shoots up, and we can just ignore it. So the Phoenixes, they missed the Oracle, as you mentioned, and this is just becoming far too much damage.
This is game-ending damage. GG is called. DnS will take a very quick game number 2.